Well, this is fourth in the series of deep learning, and earlier we have talked about different concepts of neural network. We basically have started with what is machine learning, what is deep learning, the difference, and all of that, theoretical groundings. Then we talked about how does a particular neural network looks like. Okay, so once we have designed a neural network for our own, then we worked on that and we kept on going ahead and ahead and ahead, and we found different concepts into that like what is activation function, what is gradient descent, what is model.compile, what is model.predict, what is loss, and all of that. And we discussed about everything into it, coming into the picture, coming on road. Now the next track we need to follow, I guess we have a bit of introduction about neural network as of now. We know how a neural network works, what is forward propagation, what is backward propagation, and all of that. Now let's move ahead and let's talk about what is convolution neural network. So today's agenda would be to discuss about convolution neural network, and this is what we'll be basically going to do in the entire class. It will take a lot of time, and we'll be discussing about what are the different layers into convolution, what is convolution firstly, and how could it be a neural network, and what sort of data would be processable by this CNN architecture, and what are filters, what are kernels, what are the different terminologies being involved into this entire CNN. CNN stands for convolution neural network. This is what we'll be going to discuss about as of now. Okay, so now CNN, as the name suggests, is convolution neural network, wherein convolution means iterating through an entire heap of data. This is what the literal meaning of convolution, that iterating over the entire heap of data, entire stack of data stored at one place. And neural network, as the name suggests, is a collection of neurons placed together in order to make a kind of pattern learning platform for the machine, so that the machine at the end would be able to learn the pattern, and on the basis of the pattern the machine has learned, the machine would be able to execute a kind of prediction or decision making process, right? So our first task would be to talk about the image data set, that how does a particular image data set looks like, and moreover all the things written like this into the module 5 we will be going to cover. Okay, and the title is uncovering transitions. So what is transitions, that also we'll be going to discuss about, that what are basically the meaning of transitions, and that is a simple English meaning, nothing different. Let's talk about how does an image look like. Okay, I'll just talk out for any random image. I'll just search for Apple, not apple.com. I just search for Apple right here. Okay, and I got some any of the image, like these are the Apple company organization. I'll just go for fruit. Suppose this image I talk about. Now what is the particular size for this image is 500 by 500. If I take some rectangular image, it will be of 3431 multiplied 4196. This is the size. And what do I mean? What do they mean by 3431 4196? I just write it down firstly right here. Let's understand firstly what is an image. This particular stuff, this particular shape of the image means that this image is having a width of 3431 pixels. So first pixel, second pixel, third pixel, fourth pixel, fifth pixel, and so on. They are having 3431 pixels. And similarly, first row it was this, second row, third row, fourth row, and so on. They're having 4196 rows. Now, how many total pixels are there? In one row there are 3431 pixels, and there are 4196 rows. So there are this many pixels into this image. Okay. Moving ahead, this image is a colored image. Now what do I mean by colored image? That it has 3 channels into it. Every color image is comprised of 3 channels. So how does an image look like? The image would be having, so this is the size of image, suppose. Okay, more in height, less in width, as particularly about this image. This image would be having 3 channels. So this is channel 1. On the top of it, this would be channel 2. of the same size, and on the top of it this would be channel 3. So now what do I mean by this? That this entire image is of shape 3431 multiply 4196 multiply 3. So how many total number of pixels are there into this image, and what do basically these three channels mean? This is red, this is green, this is blue. So it is, one of them is R, one of them is G, one of them is not required that first it will be R, then it will be G, then it will be no, in any order. So how many total number of pixels? 3431 multiply 4196 multiply 3. So these many pixels are there in this particular image, some 43 million, 4 crore 31 lakh. These many images, these many pixels are there in this particular image only, right? Now the thing is, why do we need to use convolution neural network? What is so wrong if we'll just design a simple neural network, simple dense connected neural network, something like this? Yeah, so something like this. What is so wrong with this dense connected neural network? The problem is that we have seen that how many total number of pixels are there? 43 million. Yeah, so we need 43 million neurons in the starting. Okay, now obviously if there are 43 million rows, we cannot just directly collapse them into 2 neurons or 3 neurons. We need to have some around 20 million rows in right here as well, and then 10 million rows right here as well, and we need to keep on expanding. So in the first and second layer itself, there is a connectivity of 43 million multiplied 20 million. So just think of the scale which we are talking about. Now we land up like 40 million into 20 million is basically 10 raised to power 10, 8 into 10 raised to power 10. That is the scale we are right now talking about. Now what is the problem with, what is wrong with this particular stuff is that in order to work with this many weights, this many neurons, and whole of this big mess, a neural network firstly takes a lot of time, and secondly there will not be any logic into this neural network that we will be going to study in the near future. That why I am saying that there will not be any logic. Okay, so that is where CNN comes into picture. They firstly what they are doing, so what can be done is either we can do something like making 10 neural network for different rows and columns and all, and just combining them. Now the problem with that is it will take a lot of time. So one neural network, if it is going to take around 1 month to get trained, so 10 neural network will go to will take the time of 10 months and will give you the good results. But if you stick to only one neural network, then it will not give you the good results, right? So if you want to step down the size of your neural network and the complexity of your neural network, it will again give you not give you the good results. So next thing with us is CNN, which basically takes lesser amount of time to get trained because of some reasons we'll be going to study right here, and moreover it yields good and logical results out of it. Okay, so this is why basically we need to use CNN. This is what the introduction of image dataset looks like, and not just on images. CNN is equally applicable to all the sort of 2D and 3D data available out there in the entire world. What sort of 2D data? Whether it be a sound signal, whether it be an audio, whether it be an image, whether it be a 2D matrix or whatever, anything. Convolution neural network is typically available for all the things which are of shape more than a single dimension. Right. Now the question is, what exactly is convolution neural network, and how can we say it takes lesser time and it works efficiently well and so on, all that stuff. In order to learn that, let's talk about something. So we have an image. Okay, I am taking the image to be of size, suppose 10 and 15. Okay, and it is a black and white image. So only one channel is right there. So how many total number of pixels? There will be total of 150 pixels right there. So just drawing a sample of this sort of stuff. So there will be 150 pixels out there. Now 150 pixel means I need to have 150 neurons in the starting, and then some 100 neurons, then some around 80 neurons, then some 120 neurons, and then my in fourth first layer I would be having my output layer to be convergent. Okay, so this whole architecture we will be going to use in the traditional neural network. But in the case of convolution neural network, what is going on? We basically design a kernel along with an image. So suppose this is my image. How does it look like? Let's shorten down the size to be of 4 multiplied by 5. I'll just short it down. Four multiplied by 5. And what else? I designed a kernel of 2 multiplied by 2. What is going on? This is the kernel which I have designed. Now just listen to me, that this is also known as kernel. This is also known as filter. This is also known as window. This is also known as sliding window. All the things are the name of aliases of this particular stuff only. I will be going to call it as a kernel throughout this course. So I have designed a kernel right there. Now what will be going to happen? This kernel will keep on iterating over this entire image one by one, just like scanning. So what will be going to happen is, firstly this kernel will be placed right here. Then this kernel will be placed right here. Second iteration. Third iteration it will be placed right here. Fourth iteration it will be placed right here. Fifth iteration at this point. Sixth at this point, and so on. 3 each row, so 3 into 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, so 12 iteration will keep on going. So we will be basically having value. How will we going to get the value, that I will be going to discuss, but particularly we will be going to have the value from every iteration. And what value? For 2 by 2 value. So I would be having a value of 2 by 2 right here. And how many windows I will get? I will get 4 windows, sorry, 12 windows, 4 rows, right here, 1, second, third, and fourth, and there is one more, but it gets overlapped into it, so this is basically ignored, and now this one would be added. So I'll tell you about more of this formula and all. Right now I'll be going to repeat entire stuff what we have actually done. We basically have two things, our image and a kernel. Let's draw the things again so that it will be clear to you that what I am actually going to do is, I would be having an image of some shape, Raghunathan, how many number of pixels would be there in this image? I'll just draw it and be ready with your answer. Now, how many number of pixels are there in this image? Raghunathan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 1 second, sir.
Yes. How many number of pixels would be there in this image?
30 into 3.
30, right. So, no, it's a black and white image, one channel image. So for now, we'll be going to talk about one channel image only. Okay, so there would be 30 pixels, 5 column and 6 rows. Now I designed a kernel of 3 by 3, suppose. every pixel right here would be having some value. So suppose this is something I name as 1, this is something I name as 2, this is something I name as 3, would be having some value stored into it which we call as pixel intensity, right? So wherein it ranges from 0 to 255. So 255 means white and 0 means black, and so on. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, right? I hope this thing is clear to you. Now every particular element into this filter will also be having some value. So suppose I have the value of 4, 9, 0, minus 2, 1, 1, 2, like any value randomly. And right here also I have some values, supposed to be 0. Then I have some 7 here, and so on. What do these values represent? So this is our image actually. This part is our image. So what is the pixel value of an image? The color intensity actually. So I'll just show you any image. Let's suppose this one, or let's suppose this one. So now this whole entire region is having the value to be white, the background, whereas this region is of black color, this region is of reddish color, different shade of red, this is brownish, and this is green. So this is the basic pixel intensity of every particular image. So this is what the pixel value would be representing, and the kernel values are designed and picked automatically. You can say the weight of the neural network which we have discussed, and this will be going to map over my entire image. Fine. Now what will happen is my kernel would keep on floating over my entire image one by one. So for the first time right here, 3 by 3, second time right here, third time right here, and so on. So let's talk about first one. So into the first part, it is right here. Now if it is right here, what will be going to happen? Simple multiplication, not matrix multiplication, simple multiplication, wherein 4 will be multiplied to 1. So this will give me a 3 by 3 window ahead. So value by value multiplication will be going on. 4 into 1, 4, 9 into 2, 18, 0 into 3, 0, 1 into 7, 7, and everything else into other places. Something like this, this and this and this. Is this thing clear to you, Mehak and Raghunathan? The first iteration about it.
Yes, sir.
Raghunathan, to you? Yeah, fine. So this is the first iteration, and second time our kernel would move to this particular point. Again some iteration, again the values and all of that. We'll get another kernel. I'm just drawing it like this way. So 9 values into it. So how many kernels you will be getting right here? First, second, and third into this row, and there are total. This will be the first row, then second. I didn't get it. 12 what? Okay. The size of the number of kernels. Fine. So 3 into each row, and there are 4 rows of shifting basically. So there will be 12 unique places where this kernel could be placed. So we will get the size of 3 multiply 3 multiply 12. Fine. This is what the first step looks like. Now the thing is, how can we decide this formula of 12? How can we decide that how many number of transition would be there, or what will be the size of our upcoming filter value or so? Any idea into it? How many filters would be there? Just think.
We could create a formula like number of rows of that image minus the number of rows of kernel into number of columns of image minus number of columns of the kernel.
Okay. Some more generalization into it. A bit more of generalization. Right. So how many number of what will be the size of the returning this particular stuff? Try to put some generalization into it. There are basically 5 columns, and we are having kernel of 3 columns. But how many column iteration I'm having? 3. So this size is basically split it down into 3 by 4. So how can I have 3 with this? 5 minus 2 is 5 minus 3 is 2 basically. How can I have 3 into this? Any idea, any generalization from your side? And this same formula would also be applicable to number of rows as well. I'm not getting any response. I want it to be an interactive one. I want you to answer me for this. Better you can keep the mic on unmute if there is no noise at the back, and we can discuss so frequently and move ahead. Okay, so I'll just make it a generalized one as of now. I'll be adding 1 into this for now. For the sake of simplicity, I'll be using this entire tool for one more time. And let's say number of, okay, let's say the size of image, whether it be column or row. So if you're talking about column, so size of the image means column of the image minus size of the filter plus 1. Till now, is it generalized? It seems valid to you? Go for some response. Please put it on audio. Like I cannot shift back again and again for that. Well, so this is the formula which we have derived till now, but there are a lot of things actually going on into this part. So the problem with this particular stuff is that there would be time when you can actually, instead of going for one particular shift, you can also go for two-step shift. So what will be the possibility with two-step shift? That I'll be drawing it with red color. So suppose this is your first kernel. Yes, Raghunathan.
So can you explain again, sir, that formula how it's derived?
Yeah. So what I said is, this is the size of image, and with size I mean column and row. So if you are talking about column, you can replace both of these with columns, and if you are talking about row, replace both of these with rows. So size of image minus size of filter plus 1. Size of image is having 5 columns, size of filter is having 3 columns. So 5 minus 3, 2 plus 1. So I got 3 right here, number of columns. And right now I'm having size of image would be 6, size of filter would be 3, 6 minus 3, 3 plus 1, 4. This is what the formula looks like as of now. Okay. Coming ahead, what I said is we can even take the shift instead of 1 to be of 2 size. So suppose this is our first, this is our n minus 1 kernel placement. So our next kernel placement instead of being this can also be this one if we define it, if we justify that. This is also we can justify. Okay, so this particular thing will impact this size. Will it be impacting the size or not? Yes or no? Go for audio message. And if it is
Yes.
impacting, will it
Yes.
increase the size, increase the number of kernels, or decrease the number of kernels right here?
Decrease.
It will basically decrease. So change in stripe would basically decreasing. So I will just write few parameters for that. So one parameter is size of image, which is directly proportional to the size. Another parameter is size of filters, which is inversely proportional to the resulting set, because the bigger the kernel would be, the less number of results we will get. Okay, so size of filter. Another thing we talk about, this particular thing is known as slide or stride as well, stride. So this I'll be writing here as st. Okay, so this particular would be inversely proportional to the number of results. So this is known as stride. So earlier we were having a stride of 1 by 1, now we are having a stride of 2 by 1. That means 2 on the horizontal scale and 1 on the vertical scale. We can also set it 2 by 2, we can also set it 5 by 7, or whatever we want to set it, depending on our configuration. So default is 1 by 1. So this is also impacting negatively. Another thing come up is that there would be times when your actually data would not.
Hello.
Fit into that.
Hello.
Am I audible clearly?
Sir, can you explain again, sir? The audio was breaking right now, sir.
Yeah, I just said
From
that
your
I'll be
side.
going to make the conversation part again. Okay, so how many columns are there? There are actually 6 columns, and if I make a kernel of size 3 by 3, let's make it with some different colors. My network isn't supporting me well today. Well, so I make a size of kernel of 3 by 3, so this is my placement of first kernel. Okay, this would be my placement of second kernel if my stride size is 1 by 1. But if I give the stride size of 2 by 2, so this would be my placement of second kernel. Okay, and again 2 by 2, so this would be my placement of third kernel. But there is no third column left for me from now on. So then one thing we can add into this is padding into the image. This will be added into the padding into the image. So my kernel remains as it is. I add a padding of suppose 2 rows right here of some different color. Okay, and I'm adding basically the padding of 2 by 2. So from all the 4 sides, my image would be extended by 2 rows and 2 columns, depending on whether it be column or row. Right here as well. And at the top as well. I missed the space, but at the top as well. Now the convolution will again start only and only from the image itself. So this is first convolution with a stride size of 2 by 2. This is second convolution, and again with a stride size of 2 by 2. This is third convolution. Fine. Now what is the another parameter introduced? with increase in padding, our convolution, our number of filters would increase or decrease? Go for
Increase.
some audio. So there is one parameter increase. So the padding would be increasing it. Fair enough. So this is what we have actually in order to talk about the size of this. Now let's come to a derivation of formula which will result in this sort of mapping of this sort of stuff. The formula which is pre-compiled, which will be going to verify is that size of image. Now padding is what? Padding is just nothing but addition into the size of image, and if I set the padding of 4 by 4, so that means 4 pixels on all the 4 sides. So 4 like 4 right here, 4 right here, 4 right here and 4 right here. So how many columns would be increased? Basically 8. Right, you understand this? So I'll just call this as 2p. So it is nothing but the size of image itself. So I'll call it as 2p. So this is just our existing size of image. Now what else we were having earlier is size of filter. Trouble with my handwriting. Okay. And what else we are having? We were having earlier. Right now is this. So we have covered these two parts as well. Another thing is this stride. Okay. So our stride, if our stride is linear, then we will get results the similar one like this. So what we have added is basically padding, which is nothing but addition into the size of image. So we turned out to be SI plus 2p minus SF plus 1. But if our stride is of size 2, then what will be going to happen is basically it is just reducing the number of filters to actually half. So we have 1, 2 and 3 filters, but otherwise we could have second, third and fourth. Right. So now that means we are having this many pixels, this many kernels with us. So that means we are basically removing the number of strides are basically working as a multiplicative factor or dividing factor. That if we increase the number of strides, that means a number of kernels would be left out to half only. Okay, just a single change in strides part. Right? I hope this particular stuff is also clear to you, that what I am talking about with this one. Is this thing clear to you? Now this is the entire formula for any size of the image, any size of the kernel, whatever number of padding and whatever number of, add it with plus 1. So this is stride SE, add it with plus 1. Is this thing clear to you, Raghunathan, Mehak, both of you?
Yes.
Raghunathan, to you as well? Okay, I'll explain it again. Yeah. So what I said is that there is this image. I'll just shift my Wi-Fi connection. Just wait for a minute. Something wrong going on my network. Wait a minute. Fine, sir. Am I audible to you clearly?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay, alright. So let's share the screen. I'm back with my network. I will not be disconnected now. So what I have said is that there is one thing which is impacting the size of number of resultant kernels is this particular size of the image, and there is another thing is padding. padding is nothing but addition into the size of image. And how much padding would affect the size of image? Just twice. So if we are having actually the padding of 2 by 2 like this, so how many number of columns are added? 1, 2, and similarly 2 here, 3 and 4. Similarly for the row, 2 rows on the top and 2 rows on the bottom. So we have added the padding with the size of image and multiplied the padding to 2. Then earlier as well we were having this SF size of the filter and plus 1 was as it is. But now what we realized is that if we increase the stride, so it is just working as a multiplicating factor for us or dividing factor for the number of kernels. So if the size of stride would be 1, if stride is 1 by 1, that means a number of kernel are coming to be n. Suppose if the stride would be 2, the number of kernels would be quite close to n by 2. So we just have divide this with stride. This is the logical formula, existing formula to calculate that how many kernels will pop up, how many kernel windows will pop up after this layer of convolution. Fair enough? Understood clearly to both of you? Is this thing clearly understood
Yes,
to you, Raghunathan? Yeah, fine. So this
padding, what value it will be added? It will be added as a random value or something.
no,
Yes.
I didn't get it basically. What is your question?
We were adding a padding, sir. In that, that may be a value or not, sir. Decide.
So padding would always be having the value of 0. It is the good practice to put the value of 0 on the padding, and it is even the default value that all the pixels placed with padding would be having the value to be 0. Okay. So now this is what we are basically learning right now. This particular layer is known as convolutions. This is the first and the like most consistent layer into CNN. Onto this layer itself the name of the architecture is placed. Now what this layer is doing, basically firstly we said that there are 2-3 things which we can do. We can add the padding, we can change the stride, we can make a kernel of our custom size, and this thing will basically it will be going to execute convolution over our entire image. And what it will be returning in the end, so suppose there is an image of size n by n and there is a kernel of size m by m, I simply say m square. Okay, so this when convoluted, it will return us how many number of kernels? N minus m plus 1, this many numbers, and one kernel would be having how many values? M by m values. And how does it return that? There would be some value at this position, there would be some value at this position. It will be multiplied and given out in the new value. Now what this kernel would be actually doing, I'll just show you an animation so that it will be clear to you what convolution is. Might be I'll get something with if I would be having good luck with me. So I guess this is an animated image. Yeah. So let's open that. Okay, so our kernel is 101, 010 and 101. So 101 when multiplied into this is giving us 4, then some or the other way, then some value, then some value, then some value. This is what is actually going on into this particular one. And similarly, if I can show you some other convolution GIF, if it is available. I guess this would be a GIF. Yeah. So it's doing nothing but a kind of matrix multiplication amongst the weight and the image, and it is keep on giving result ahead and ahead and ahead. Like, okay, so first the convolution is going on, the filter is keep on moving over the image, and it is keep on resulting in at the last it is giving us the result of multiplication of kernel and the image. Fine. So this is how actually the convolution will be basically executed. Now what is the end result of this convolution? That is what we will be basically going to use. So we are having m by m filter size. Let's suppose the m is 4 by 4. First filter second filter, third filter, and so on. I am having n minus m plus 1 filters with 0 padding and 1 stride size. Okay, the next task in the layer in this architecture is known as pooling. So this particular frame would be for pooling part. Now what is pooling? Pooling again is a kind of placing a window, a size, not a window with value, just a size. So we define the pooling size to be 2 by 2, right? So this will be basically splitting this entire filter into 2 by 2 size. There are three kind of pooling available: max pooling, min pooling, and average pooling. I will be taking max as, suppose this is the like representation of ceil function also. So max, min, or average. Okay, so these are the three pooling type available. Now what is the meaning of max pooling? That what basically pooling will be doing, let's understand this. So from this image there are basically four units, four subunits I would say. Into this unit there are four subunits. From every subunit it will take one value. So one value to represent this part, one value to represent this part, one value to represent this part, and one value to represent this part. Which value, that we will talk about. So I got four values. So my size is now reduced to again half of this. Okay, so I am getting four values right here. And similarly, how many these four values? N minus m plus 1. So for every kernel window we are getting four values each. Now what value? Basically there are three types of pooling. Let's talk about max pooling first. So what max pooling will be doing? It will fetch the maximum available number amongst this window of 2 by 2. Suppose the numbers are 7, 9, 3, 4. So it will give me right here 9. Second time number are 3, 0, 1, minus 7. So it will give me 3. And so on. Again I can show you some GIF of max pooling if I'll get it. Okay, so just have a look into this. It's slow enough to read it clearly, and this is what max pooling is doing. Similarly, what is min pooling? You can guess it very clearly. Min pooling is nothing but the minimum value from the filter. Again we can see some GIF about that. The minimum value from the given range. Okay, let's see this one if it will work. So max pooling said 6, min average said 5.25, min said, sorry, there is something like sum pooling as well defined by them, but we particularly are talking about min pooling. So min pooling would be giving the minimum value of it, which is 4 in this case, and 4 in this case, and 2 in this case, and again 2 in this case. Then there is like average pooling and there is like sum pooling, but the maximum used amongst them is the max pooling. Okay, so are we clear about what is pooling? What is pooling?
Yeah.
Okay, why to do that? That is later on part, that we'll be going to talk about. But what we are doing, the technical aspects, I hope it will be clear to you. Is it clear to you, Raghunathan? Is it clear to you as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what we got is how many windows? N minus m plus 1 again. With how many values? 2 multiplied by 2. It's again a 2D data. So we have just started with 4 by 4 or 9 by 9. So that's why we have reduced to 2 by 2. But if we would have started from something like 3000 by 4000 as the size of image was, then we would have actually ended up on some 500 or 500 by 900 or type of stuff. Our image was actually so big. Again, what else we need to do? So firstly we did convolution, then we did pooling. Again, the data would be quite big enough when you work on actual data, then you can actually go for convolution again and then pooling again. So this convolution pooling block, you can execute it for whatever number of time you want to. So this is just nothing more than a layer. This whole thing is layer itself. Layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4 and so on. You can add one more pair of convolution pooling. And then once you'll be satisfied with the results you are getting from convolution pooling, then what else you need to do is you need to flatten the entire thing. So what was the result from our side? N minus M plus 1 filters of 2 by 2. Okay, so instead of 2 by 2, firstly we need to convert it into 4 and 4 multiply n minus m plus 1. Okay, so whatever number it would be. So now we would be having, instead of 2D data, we would be having this linear data. So once you would be having this linear data, connect it to fully connected neural network, FCNN, dense neural network. I'm just going bad and bad with my editing, and at the last you will get some output. This is your output layer, and this would be your input layer, right like this. And that input basically would be in 2D form. So this thing you will be giving to your convolution. Is this entire architecture clear to you? What is going on at the site? Yes or no?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Right. So let's see a kind of visualization of how the CNN looks like on graph, and if it is like 3D stuff, so I cannot draw it right here. So I'll be showing you right on the internet itself. Let's say this one. So there is one image in which you have convoluted, and this convolution with 5 by 5 kernel valid parsing, it keep on going. Then what you have done for max pooling. So your number, your depth of the stack remains the same, but the height and width of the stack is reduced to quite less. So from 24 by 24 we turned into 12 by 12 because max pooling was 2 by 2. Okay, then we again took the convolution, and then 12 by 12 turned out to be 8 by 8 with n2 channels. The channels have increased because it is the result of pooling. Sorry, convolution. We again turned out to max pooling. The channels remain the same, but 8 by 8 turned out to be 4 by 4. Now we are having 4 by 4 by n2, and then at last we flattened it into the screen and connected to the entire deep learning, the basic deep learning stuff, dense connected neural network. Now let's talk about what this particular layer is doing for us. You didn't understand? Let's come back to it again. We have an image, right, this, into which 2 is written, handwritten 2 is written. What is going on into this is, firstly, let me open this on the expanded mode. I hope it will be clear. So now we are doing a convolution, and the convolution is with 5 by 5 kernel padding. So we are getting 24 by 24 by n1 channels. Okay, how do we get to know about 24 by 24? Because we have 28 minus 5, 28 minus 5, 23 plus 1, 24. Strides and padding would be 0. That is why it is 28 minus 5 plus 1, 24. With n1 channels, okay, now because of this n1 channel, we go for the max pooling in order to reduce the size. So the height and width of this would be shortened down to 12 by 12. The channel number remains the same. It is again n1. When we again convoluted, it increased the channel number and decreased the size a bit to 8 by 8, and channel is now n2, which is more than n1. Then we again had gone for pooling, so which have basically turned 8 by 8 to 4 by 4. So now 4 by 4 of single channel size, and how many channels? N2 channels. And when we flatten it down, it will become 16 N2, 4 multiply 4 multiply N2. It got flattened. Once got flattened, we can connect the entire dense neural network into it, fully connected neural network. And right here we are also going for ReLU activation. Is this thing clear to you? What entire thing is doing? Now let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of that, if it is clear. Raghunathan, is it clear to you?
Can you explain channels again?
Right. So what are channels basically? See, you will never go for ending up, you will never end up basically getting one only filter. When we talked about this image, so this is our image with around 3 by 3 size, and our kernel is of 2 by 2 size. Let's draw it with some different color. Okay, let's draw it right here. So it is of 2 by 2 size. Now when I draw a 2 by 2 kernel here, it gave me 2 by 2 output, right, like this. Okay, so red box is all of 2 by 2 itself, you can understand that. Then the second thing, it again gave me another channel right here. Then right here it again gave me another channel, and right here it is again giving me another channel. So this is what channel means. Is this thing clear now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's yeah, now let's talk about Raghunathan, is it clear to you as well? Yeah, fine. So let's talk about the advantage and disadvantage, particularly or use case of every single layer. Let's talk about convolution first. So what convolution is giving us? When we talk about, let's see the convolution of GIF of convolution. Or a simpler one, let's suppose this. Now when this particular stuff is getting convoluted, so you just put focus on this 3 or this 2. This 2 is getting repeated 9 times. The central most one. I'll just open the image on the big side. The central most element. Okay, let's talk about this 3 on the central most element of the first row. This 3 is getting repeated 3 times, and every time it is the neighbors are getting changed, right? So neighbors are getting changed. What do I mean by this is that the convolution is keeping a track of transitions. The convolution is keeping a track of relations, that in your image, this is suppose a basic face I have drawn, then this is the eye. Okay, what are the features of eye? So eye would be obviously not of 1 pixel. Suppose this is the worst eye I have ever drawn. I don't know, I'm just, so this is the suppose first convolution right here, second convolution right here, third convolution right here, fourth convolution right here, and you are understanding the transition amongst them. This is what CNN is actually doing for you. So first of the advantages, preserving the relation. So I'll be writing advantages right here. So first advantage is relation. I can't just write into this. Let's talk the relation, preservance of relation. Next, when we talk about convolution, so we are actually decreasing into the size a lot. Just look at this particular size. Okay, so what are the size decrease going on at right into this particular stage? We are maintaining and preserving each and every size, and then we are just keep on scaling down and down and down, and it will not take much amount of time comparative to dense connected neural network. So comparative to dense connected neural network, it is efficient. Now let's talk about what are the disadvantages of that. That everything on the corners will be ignored. So the problem is with corners. So in the corner, if anything is on corner, it will be just scrapped once. I can just not write into it. So anything on the corner would be scrapped once. I'll just show you the GIF again, and you can see this 7 is just crawled and scrapped once only, never the other time. Right here, same for this 4, this 8, this 5. Okay, now let's talk about another layer, which is pooling. So into pooling, what we are basically doing is we are reducing the size, again coming up to be efficient one. The problem with that is we are missing some or the other way the information. I just write it, am I missing information into this? This is the basic advantage, disadvantages of using CNN layers. But still, the advantages are enough to just talk about them and use that instead of taking care of disadvantages. If we take up a skill, then advantages always rule the disadvantages of CNN. And CNN is actually one of the state-of-the-art algorithm when it comes to image processing or sound processing or so. Now let's talk about that. How does it look like on the code? Example, which example, Raghunathan?
So that relation between transitions that I
Okay.
do not understand.
Okay. So right here you can see that this particular 2 and 5 and 3 and 3 are almost in 3 to 4 convolutions, and this particular centralized 2 is in all the transitions. This 2 where my mouse is basically placed, the central most element. This is in all the transitions. So none of the transition is basically missing. So what does it mean is that CNN tries to put the focus on the center rather than on the corner. So CNN doesn't put the focus on corner. Now there is also a way to overcome this disadvantage, that if you want to put the focus to be on corners, you can simply add padding. So your corner will no longer be a corner. Simple enough. So if your algorithm is not supporting you, you can support the algorithm with the data. You can modify the data according to you, right? So let's talk about that. How does this particular CNN looks like when it comes to coding? So this is the file we actually had, in which you were working with basic neural network. Okay, so I'll just be using this file to copy paste some of the code, and I'll be creating one more file right here. Let's create another file. The name of the file is basiccnn.py. Okay, so this is basiccnn.py right here. What I want to go for this is, I want to import my model, keras.models, import sequential. Okay, then what I want to do, I want to import layers. So from keras.layers, import conv2d. This is the code. This is the keyword conv2d, flatten for flattening up, max pooling 2d, and dense itself. Okay, so let's make it in order. So firstly we'll be going for conv2d, then we'll be going for max pooling, then we'll be going for flatten, and then we'll be going for dense. Right, I guess fair enough. Now let's talk about what else we'll be going to do. We'll be going to make a model. Model is equals to sequential model dot add conv2d. Okay, so what else we were doing earlier is model dot add dense and all the parameters. So instead of dense, I'll be saying conv2d. This is my first layer, so I also need to give input size. Input size I give to be, suppose, the size of my image 96 by 96 by 1 for a 2D image, one channel image. Right, fair enough. And this input size will also be in a bracket. I hope I'm not messing up with bracket. I'm missing a bracket actually, right? Okay. Once I get the input size, what else I need to do? I need to pass on one other thing. What it could be? Just go for it from your side. What it could be? What else I need to do? I gave the data. What else I need to do in order to work with convolution?
Kernel.
Kernel. So I'll be need to state that kernel size is equals to, suppose 5. So it will be basically 5 by 5. It will be auto squared. What else I need to do? Activation. What else I need to state right here? So one thing I forgot to tell you, or not forgot, but I like intentionally haven't discussed much about it, is that whenever we go for this kernel understanding, we never go with one kernel. We will go with different kernels at a time. So let's suppose we are going with 16 kernels this time. Okay, and what do I mean by 16 kernels? Whatever we have discussed is only and only with one kernel. Okay, so with one kernel, that means one kernel would be having some value and it will be keep on iterating over the entire image. But right now we have made the thing for 16 kernels, so this whole thing will be executed 16 times. What else I can give? Strides. So strides would be, suppose 1 by 1, which is the default as well, but we can also customize it. So I just have placed it right here. So I'm closing two brackets, one for con2d, one for done. Syntax is good. Then next, model.add. Which layer? I need to add this max pooling 2D. Okay. Into this max pooling 2D, what do I need to add? Pool size. Okay, so is this thing clear? Is this thing clear to you? I'm not getting any voice.
Yeah.
Fine. Now what else I need to do is, I need to add something. Again, I can repeat this entire architecture, convolution 2D, convolution pooling. So for this I'll be going to say, let's just copy this whole. So right now the kernel should keep on increasing, and the best practice is to increase the kernel by a factor of 2. So right now the more you keep on going into depth, the more number of kernels you need. It will be a better practice. And I don't need input size anymore. Kernel size is suppose 3 this time. Activation would be ReLU. Strides would be, I just increase the strides to 2 by 2. Okay, and my pooling, let's turn out to be 3 by 3 this time. Okay, and again one more convolution layer. Kernel size, activation, strides, everything remains the same. Done. Now what else I need to add is, I need to flatten this entire stuff. Okay, once flattened, let's copy this entire architecture right here, dense architecture. Let's take these three layers. So model.add dense, activation, and blast. Instead of one particular output, I want to have 6 output, because I want to make a classifier for 6 images, 6 objects. So model.add dense 6, activation is equals to sigma. This is what my model looks like. Enough of layers. So how many layers I have? And let's do something. Let's see what is this model.summary would be doing. This will basically summarize our model. So how many layers we are having? We are having one convolution pooling, another convolution pooling, another convolution pooling. So 3 multiplied to 6, 1 flattened, 7, and 3 dense layers, into which last one is the output. And so in total we are having 11 layers, 1 input, 1 output, and 9 hidden layers. Okay, and let's print this model.summary. I'll be executing this file. Basic CNN. What is so wrong about it? Keyword argument not understood. Input size. Am I doing something wrong with this? Input dimension. Okay. My bad. Or rather, I guess it is an input shape. Yeah, fine. So model.summary will basically just print out entire of your neural network. So this is how our entire neural network looks like. Convolution 2D layer number 1. This is the name. This is the type, with the output shape to be none, 92, 92, 16. Parameters to be 416. And why 92, 92, 16? Just see. What is the input shape? 96 by 96. What is the kernel size? 5. Strides is 1 by 1. So 96 minus 5 is 91, and adding 1 would be 92. So if I'll go for changing it to 2 by 2. So what it will be? 96 minus 5, 91 divided by 2. 91 divided by 2 would be something like 45.5 and adding it 1. Let's see this particular stuff. Something wrong? Max pool with input shape 1 by 1 by 64. Okay, it might have reduced the value so much that let's take it with 960 by 960. Yeah, so the value was so much reduced. So now 960 minus 5, which means 955 divided by 2 is 478. Okay, so 477.5 basically, so 477.5 plus 1. So this will be the output shape of this particular layer. Now from 478 I am taking a pool of 2 by 2, so it will be reduced to half, 239, 239, 16. Then again, so why 16? Because there are 16 channels. If there would be so this is only going for one particular image. Then again a convolution, so now the size is going on 239, 239, 16. So 239, 239 minus 3 is 236. Sides of 2 would be 236 by 2. 118 plus 1, 119 is there. You can verify your formula, and the channels is turning out to be 32 because we have used the channel of 32 right here. Okay, then again 119 would get divided by 3, which turn out to be 39 because 40 multiplied by 3 is 120. So 39, 39, 32. Again a convolution. So 39 minus convolution of 3, corner size 3. So 39 minus 3 is 36. Sides of 2 means 18 plus 1 means 19. Then again pooling, flatten, 6 multiply 6 multiply 64 turn out to be 2304 I guess, and then a dense of 12, 9 and 6. Simple enough. Is this entire architecture clear to you? What is written right here? So still total number of parameters are 51,389, more than 50,000 actually. Is this entire architecture clear to you?
Yeah.
Can you explain again?
Can you
Yeah.
go back to the code?
Okay, I can think of like if it will work this way. So is this thing visible to you, the architecture?
Yeah.
So this is what the architecture and the code is, because one of you needs the code, one of you needs the architecture. So firstly I have the convolution 2D layer, which will return me 478, 478, 16 because of the number of kernel, 478 because of that formula we discussed, 960 minus 5 divide by 2, which will be 955 divided by 2, which turn out to be 477.5 plus 1, so 478.5 grounded down to 478. Then again max pooling will turn it to half. Let's take the max pooling of 4 by 4 here. So it will end up basically reducing the data for me. So that's why basically I cannot do that. But 4 by 4 ending up will be giving me lesser number of output here, like more than like half of this 239 again. Is that voice clear now?
Yes, sir. Now only it's clear, sir.
So go to the code, just read the code, and then just look after every layer. Look at this architecture shown on my command prompt, and match them up, and tell me which particular thing you didn't get to know. And even not on this, even you can do the same thing, the model.summary part on any neural network, not on CNN only. You can do that on the basic neural network as well. But till that time, those things were basically understood to us, so we didn't discuss that much. But you could have done this on that neural network as well. Okay, I will share the code, but it's your time to make a neural network, make a convolution neural network. I'll just not show the code anymore as of now. You can ask me whatever you are facing issue on. So your task is to basically make a neural network which will take the input of size 28 by 28 and which will be having 4 pairs of convolution pooling, convolution pooling, convolution pooling, convolution pooling. Okay, instead of 28 by 28, take it to 1000 by 1000. Then it will give you better results. So, or even not 1000. So take it 1000 by 1000 and 3 pairs of convolution pooling, convolution pooling, convolution pooling. This is what you need to do. And at last, flat that down, dense, dense, and output. This is
It
what
is
you need to
giving
do.
an error for input shape keyword.
Just show me the code. It is input underscore shape.
Yeah,
Just show me the code or the screenshot of error, or both the screenshots, like your code and the error.
I'm sharing the screen.
Okay, yeah, it's visible now. So it says input shape. Okay, you are not calling convolution 2D into it. Instead of inside model.add, you need to call conv2d. So it will be like model.add bracket conv2d bracket this entire stuff. So input shape is the parameter of convolution 2D. It's not max pool 2D. Import is max pooling 2D. Raghunathan, you need to do that as well.
Hello.
Yes,
Sir,
Raghunathan. Yeah.
what to do, sir?
You need to create a neural network which will take an input of 1000 by 1000 and will have layers like convolution, then pooling, then convolution, then pooling, then convolution, then pooling. So 6 layers of basically 3 pairs of convolution and pooling, and then last it will be having 2 dense layers. Okay, and before that flatten as well, and at the last you need to give the output of the neural network. So you need to design that neural network and show me the summary with model.summary
Yes,
part.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
1 second,
giving
sir.
an error for both sides.
I didn't get it. Wait, Mike. What, Raghunathan?
So I am seeing a syntax. I am not get any syntax.
What? I didn't get it.
So I'm not. I'm now only I'm getting a syntax for it.
Please, buddy, at least complete the sentence or ask the things on the text. I'm not actually getting your voice clearly. The things are not getting clear. I heard the word syntax, but not the sentence completely. Okay, so Mehak, the problem with you is that max pooling 2D comma pool size. No, max pooling is a layer. So inside model.add, you need to call the layer, and that's all. And within the layer, you need to pass the parameters. Raghunathan, share the things on chat that what actually you are saying right now. It's not being clear to me. Yeah, so show the screen, share the screen, and then we will talk about it.
Yep, it's working.
It's working. Share the screenshot of that.
My screen is still.
Yeah, screen is shared. Yeah, fine. It's working. So you have convolution 2D. Wait. Show me the code. Show me the model.summary part from the top. It's having convolution 2D 1, 2, and 3 with max pooling 1, 2, and 3. Fine. Then. Okay, yeah, great. It's working perfectly fine. Let's wait for Raghunathan to work on this. Raghunathan, share your screen if you are getting any error.
Sir, now only written coding, sir. Wrote coding. Insurance.
Yeah. Okay, there is some noise coming out from someone's background. Please check that. Share me the screen. Whatever you are writing, just share. Keep your screen on share mode.
Sir, I'm just using a phone, sir, for voice.
You are using your phone. Okay. Well, it's better to go for web when you use the Skype. Better to go on laptop or on desktop.
What's the kernel size?
Kernel size is the window size, 3 by 3, 5 by 5, the window which will get convoluted over the image.
So what's the pool size?
Okay, so pool size and kernel size are two different things. So pool size is into pooling, kernel size is into convolution. You didn't get it? See, firstly we did the convolution part and then we worked on the pooling part. So into convolution we were taking a kernel and keep on repeating it over the entire image. Keep on just sliding it over the entire image. And what was the pooling? Pooling was basically making windows of making windows of a particular size into the entire image and taking the maximum value of this window. Wherein into the kernel we were multiplying the things. Is it clear now?
So if I have, let's say, 5 by 5 size of the picture, and the kernel is 3 by 3, and the
Okay.
stride is 1.
Okay. Yeah.
So the pool size shouldn't be 3 by 3 in that case.
No, no, no. The pool size is in like not depending over the kernel size. I'll share my screen and I'll draw something. Wait. Okay. So what is my screen visible to you?
Yes.
Okay. So this is something like my image. Okay. And that is of size 6 by 6 suppose, or 5 by 5. No, whatever the size is. So it's like 6 by 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 by 6. And I have a kernel of size 3 by 3. So my kernel would be floated all across the images. Okay, all across the image. So this will give one value. So all this green color values of 3 by 3 you need to assume. Then again it will give some value. Then again. And then again. Right. So 4 from one row, and similarly 4 columns are there. So it will be basically giving me this filter for 16 times. Okay, so this 3 by 3 stuff for 16 times. This is what kernel size is. Fair enough? Is it clear?
Yep.
Okay, so let's scale up the things a bit. Now the kernel size, resulting kernel size is not 3 by 3, it is suppose 5 by 5. Okay, I can draw it from there itself. So let's suppose this is the kernel actually now. The red color stuff is the resultant of a kernel. But still I need to draw, let's draw that entire stuff again. So instead of 3 by 3 I got something like 5 by 5, or I got something like 4 by 4 for simplicity. Now what pooling will be doing into it is, pooling, suppose the pool size is 2 by 2. So pool kernel also has values, image also has value, the resulting kernel right here is also is having a value, but pool only and only have size. So pool size is basically be distributing this image into 2 by 2 stuff, 2 by 2 windows. Now either the maximum or the minimum or the average or the sum of or the multiplication of this entire window would be taken. So from one kernel, so I am having 16 such green color stuff, not blue, green color stuff. So what I'll get, this 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, so 4 values, or simply a 2 by 2 value for 16 times. Is it clear what is pooling now?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, okay. So what have you shared, Raghunathan? Model is equals to sequential model dot add. Okay, what is, I don't get into it.
So
Wait. You are having an error on line number 8. So line number 8 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one, I guess. You are missing bracket. After pool size, you need to have one more bracket into it. It's a silly mistake. You are learning deep learning. Just be comfortable with the syntax of Python. You are missing the bracket on the upper layer. If you are getting an error, try to decode that. You are getting error like right here on this model.add function because there is a missing bracket right here after 2 by 2. So into all your pooling layer, you are missing the bracket. Is it rectified now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Once, sir. Coming.
Fair enough. Is it? It's working. Now you got an idea that okay, what is kernel, what is padding, what is this, what is that, and all the components, all the jargons involved into CNN. Is it somehow clear to you right now? To both of you?
Somewhat clear.
Somewhat clear? Okay, anything you find out, okay, like obviously I understand with practice you will get the clear understanding of all of that. But anything you find like, okay, this particular thing I don't know anything about, what is this? Anything like this is there in your mind? That you are using a word and you don't know the meaning of this word? Anything like that, Raghunathan?
Sir, 1 second, sir.
Yeah. So is that the same case with you that Mehak, you are looking at any particular like word and you are finding okay this particular word I don't know what it is doing. Everything is so clear to you onto this?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's wait for the confirmation from Raghunathan as well and then we'll be moving on. So Mehak, are the
Hello?
things going on?
Hello?
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, can you explain straights that I didn't
Right.
understand?
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
be explaining straight. No worries. My screen is visible. Yes. So I'll be explaining stride. So what does a stride do basically? So strides are suppose this is what my image is. Okay. Now this image is of 5 by 6 or 5 by 7 or something like that. Let's suppose 4 by 5. Okay, so 4 by 5 or 4 by 6 type of image I'm having. Right. Now what particularly stride would be doing? So I am having a kernel of 2 by 2. Simplest kernel of 2 by 2. What the stride would be doing to me is this particular is the position of first placement of kernel. Now if I do not specify the value of stride or even if I specify it to 1 by 1, so it will take 1 unit change on the right after first iteration, then after second iteration 1 unit change on the right again. Okay, so once the complete line would be executed, then it will move down, so 1 unit change right here. But if I specify the value of stride, so suppose I specified it to be 2 by 2 or 2 by 1, so it will take 2 units change right into this part and 1 unit change into this part. So with stride basically we can configure the value of number of steps taken by our model for the convolution part, that how much steps would be taken by this kernel on our image in order to move ahead and ahead and ahead. Right? Is it comfortable now? Is that thing comfortable now, Raghunathan, to you now?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So this is what basically stride is. So let's recall, let's take a recall of the entire session what we have discussed as of now. So firstly we have started with that what is CNN even earlier. our first step was to talk about what is image, how does an image look like with the perspective of machine learning or deep learning. Then we talked about what is CNN, what is neural network, what is convolution. Then different layers involved into what is into CNN convolution neural network. So different layers are, firstly we need to go for convolution, then we talked about pooling, then we talked about flatten, then we talked about dense. Dense is something which we have borrowed from the previous class because we already know what dense is, and then at last we are giving the output. Now this is what going on at the back end part of this entire stuff. Now what is convolution? Basically just scraping out a kernel on the surface of an image from left to right, top to bottom, all across the entire image, and fetching out the patterns and the relation out of it. Now what is the benefit of using kernels and this convolution stuff? That it reduces the size a lot, but what is the problem? That it is losing some information as well. So convolution neural network is basically giving us advantage in this format, that without even losing the architecture, without even weakening the architecture, we are getting good amount of accuracy and good amount, like somewhat around acceptable amount of time, because of lesser backend parameters involved into this. Okay, now what does this so in, like if in suppose dense neural network, 32 neuron layer is fetching up some 1500 parameters. In convolution neural network, 32 neuron layer will fetch up more than 10,000 parameters. This is what it's actually going on. Now what does it mean with this number of neurons and layers? So it's basically reducing the time and improving the accuracy with lesser number of layers. Then another thing we talked about is what is pooling. So into pooling we discussed about max pooling, min pooling and average pooling, and we saw the sum pooling as well. So basically max pooling, min pooling, and you can create any of the things, any of the layer by your own as well. There is no need of using max pooling layers of Keras. You can design max pooling of yours as well. Just it's like the maximum of the region, nothing else. Just take a region, flatten it down, take the maximum of it, and that is your max pooling value. Simple enough. Then moreover we talked about what is flatten. So before that we discussed the iteration of convolution plus pooling block. So whenever we think like, okay, this architecture is good enough, we go for convolution pooling, convolution pooling, convolution pooling, and then at last we go for flattening. Then we connect the entire stuff to a dense. Now one more thing is missing in the model. What else is required in the model before training? Raghunathan, what else is required in a model before training? Can you hear me? Okay, he left for some reason. Okay, so Mehak, what else is required according to you for the model before the training part?
Hello.
Yes, Raghunathan. I didn't get the response from you as well, Mehak. What else is required before the training of model can start? Am I audible to you? Can you hear me? Can any one of you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now can you hear me, Mehak? Okay, sure. So Raghunathan, let's ask the same thing to you, that what else is required. I was asking the thing to you and then you left the group for some issue. I asked the same thing to Mehak, that what else is required for a model before passing this thing to the training part. So what is the next step into deep learning once we add the layers into our deep learning model, Keras model? What is the next step?
Compile, I think so.
Okay, some noise at your back, big noise. Please put it on mute. Yes, exactly. Please put that on mute. Yeah. So next thing is compile. So we just need to go for writing instead of model.summary. I'll be writing here model.compile. So into compile we need to give three things. So what are those three things? What are those three things, Raghunathan? Laws. Okay. We'll talk about it later on. So one is laws. What else?
Activation function. Optimizer, sorry.
Optimizer, not activation function. Optimizer. Okay, what else, Raghunathan?
Metrics.
Metrics. So we need to pass on three things: that what is our loss, okay, and what is our optimizer, and what is our metric. So matrix would be a list of values, and if it is a classification stuff, so it will be accuracy. So how many classes are there in this particular neural network? How many classes are there? So this is a binary classifying neural network, or one like a regression neural network, or what is this neural network all about? What will be the output of this neural network? Just look at this stuff. It will give you 6 values. So because it has 6 neurons in the last, okay. So if it is if it is of 6 neuron, then obviously it is more than binary. It is multi-class classifier. Then we need to write here categorical cross entropy, the loss, or simply, so categorical cross entropy or simply the cross entropy as well will work. So if it would be a binary classifier with one value right here, so we need to write binary cross entropy, okay, and then we need to change this particular part, okay, then it would be sigmoid, but if it is 6-1 as well, we need to change it to softmax as well. Okay, so this is the entire model.compile looks like. Now we have the model added into the layers, compiled. What else can we do is that we make a function def model creation, and let's make this entire stuff one tab ahead, okay, and then at the last return model. Now what we can do with this is we can create one more file of our training. This is just our architecture. We can create one more file of our training. Into that we can call this model by calling this file and this particular function. That will give us the compiled version of the model. Fair enough. Now our next task would be to make an image classifier, and it will take kind of more than 1 hour even, okay, or around 1 hour or so. So we'll not be doing it as of now. We'll be doing it in the next class. But for that you need to be very clear about all the concepts of CNN. I would better suggest you to read few blogs about it if you feel like, you read few books, or not complete books, but something about this particular stuff, so that you will be getting clear understanding of what is going on, right? So in the next class we will be building an image classifier, object classifier, with the help of this CNN architecture, and that is going to be your first project as well. Okay, fair enough. Am I clear?
Yeah.
That will be your first project as well. So we'll be going to implement 2 or more than 2, like around 3 projects into this particular course. So this is going to be your first project. Be ready for that. In the next class we'll be going to implement an object classifier right there, live on the class. Okay, any doubt till now?
Can you show the code again?
Yeah, sure. Okay, and like this video will also be available to you, so you can check the entire thing from video as well. But as of now, any doubt to you? To any one of you?
No.
Okay, to you, Raghunathan, are the things clear?
Sir, now it's clear, sir, but I'm working. I will get an
Yeah, work on that. Whenever you will be getting any doubt, just ask me right that moment of time itself. And you have asked me multiple doubts as well, and you got the solution. And this, like, whenever I see the message or whenever I receive your call. Okay, so don't worry for the part. Whatever you will feel any kind of doubt also, you can just ask me right. Okay. Let's see you then, both of you, into the next class. Okay. Till then, take care. Bye bye.